Putting yourself out there, your content, your ideas, your voice can be absolutely terrifying. Over the past several years, I have conducted over 1,000 interviews across different shows, and these 3 ideas have stuck out to me the most about how to be more confident. Now, these ideas are very different from each other, but one of them, I'm sure, will be helpful for you in overcoming whatever fear is keeping you back. You ready? Number 3, what if confidence had nothing to do with it? What if nerves are actually a good thing? This idea comes from best-selling author and a leading authority on leadership and influence, Rene Rodriguez.
What if feeling confident wasn't part of the equation? What if feeling confident wasn't the determining factor? And I pose it as a question, because I think we wait for things like that to happen before we step out. But what if motivation didn't matter? The things that I've come to find out from those that are most influential, successful, and I say quotes around successful, are the ones that don't depend on motivation. They rely on discipline. I do this because this is what I do. I hate it, I'm scared, but I still do it. There's a sense of any dependency on something outside of oneself, that which you cannot control, is where the problem typically begins. It's a promise that will never deliver. That's the pursuit of happiness, which really is the pursuit of the dopamine high. It doesn't last. I go, well, in my mind, I'm like, well, what if confidence didn't matter? What if nerves were good?
Takeaway, stop waiting to feel confident. Confidence is not a prerequisite. Discipline is. Number 2, confidence is not a product of things just working out for you. It's actually built in the valleys. This idea comes from Emmy-nominated producer and host Shira Lazar. She says,
I work a lot on my confidence.
Really?
So FYI, yes, yeah. And I'm honest
girl, you had it
about
good.
because I think it's important. I mean, a lot of the work I do, I think that, a lot of people think I have confidence, and I even think I have confidence, but yet things will happen that will make me realize, like the triggers I have or what I've been through, realize how much I do question myself, and actually how much I do not necessarily know how powerful I am or amazing I am. And this goes for everyone. Like, we all have those things. Like, you might think superficially because of what you've been through or who you get to be around or your accomplishments. Yeah, like I'm confident. But then when you dig a bit deeper, you might realize actually maybe you're not as certain about everything you're doing. Like, are you doing it for validation? Are you doing it for the reaction? Do you actually follow your inner compass? Do you even know what that is? Are you listening to that? So I think that was the work that I've done really. I would say, I'm 40. So 30 to 40 was really a lot of that work where I had accomplished all this stuff. And yet I was finding myself still in a place of, this highs and lows, which is life, but not being able to handle the lows. And that's where I would go into some sort of downward spiral. And then I would attach myself to the highs. And really identify with my highs. And so I think in the lows is where I really realized like how many issues I had and how much I actually didn't really maybe have confidence. Like, my confidence lied in people giving me those reactions I needed to feel good. I think really where you discover your true inner confidence is when you're not in the best place.
yeah.
And like, how do you get yourself through that and know that you're going to be okay and you're worthy of whatever you want?
Takeaway, confidence is not an absence of insecurity. It's a product of how you move through insecurity. Like I'm doing the fish. And number 1, my absolute favorite, and this is going to stretch you a little bit. If none of this works out, pretend to be someone else. Have you heard of an alter ego? I had the opportunity of interviewing one of the world's leading authorities on alter egos and peak performance, Todd Herman. And sometimes he gets resistance talking about alter egos because people think, well, that's not authentic.
What's the most highlighted part of my book? One of them is when I share who's the alter ego, Clark Kent or Superman. And everyone thinks it's Superman because people think alter ego as in the superhero world as the superhero. No, the alter ego is Clark Kent. He built Clark Kent, the mild-mannered, timid, modest version of himself, so that he could fit in society. And that's my frame to most people. Most people are walking around as Clark Kents so that they can fit in. But really underneath it all is this deep sea and reservoir of capabilities and traits and attributes that we're just not accessing. And my frame is, and what I've experienced and seen is the alter ego, when done right, is an amazing way to access this new landscape that you didn't know was even there. And then you get that out onto the field of play of life. And then it closes feedback loops. You're like, oh, wait, I can do that. And now that becomes absorbed into and reconciled inside of this core part of how you see yourself. And then you do more.
Yeah.
And you keep on playing with that. And now you're constantly expanding your reach, your capabilities. And that's healthy.
Takeaway: if you cannot find the courage to do what you need to do, you can borrow courage. Step into a new identity, and you might be surprised who you actually are. If you're watching on YouTube, comment down below and let me know which of these three pushed you the most. And if you would like to listen to these full conversations, they are linked down below as well. Love ya in your corner.